2020, the world was plunged into a global lockdown. Once bustling cities and busy roads lay bare and empty. With humanity locked down, nature began to take over again. The benefits of humans being locked away has been noted across the world, and it has been no different in this local small-town quarry in Somerset. The peregrine falcon is the fastest animal on the planet. With huge talons and binocular vision, this bird can reach record-breaking speeds. Join us as we follow local wildlife photographer Martin Slade on his quest to photograph a peregrine chick. After waiting 5 years to see one, is a global pandemic all it takes to make that happen?
I think people do know me as the peregrine photographer in the quarry. I've been doing photography, probably since I can remember, really, probably in my teens. And I'm just particularly interested in action photography, and I've fallen in love with these peregrines. Now, I've been in Weston since about 2005, so over 10 years, well over 10 years. And I found out about the peregrines 5 or 6 years ago, because apparently there were peregrines longer than that ago, maybe over a decade, and they did nest. And then there was a period of time when there were no peregrines, just the odd peregrine that would visit.
Martin has been following the peregrine falcons at his local nature reserve since 2015. He's been following the same pair of falcons for around 5 years now. Every year he has been hopeful they would have chicks. However, luck has not been on his side.
We've been hoping and keeping our fingers crossed that they would indeed have some young. And every year we would be disappointed.
Martin's goal is to record the full life cycle of the peregrines in this quarry. To get the perfect shot, every wildlife photographer knows you have to be where the wildlife is, even if it means being outside whatever the weather to take that photograph.
I've got a lot of fond memories of the birds. Probably one of the most memorable. We had snow this year. I think it might have been 2017. And we had a lot of snow, and I thought it would be nice to get a picture of the peregrines in the snow. So I came up, and the quarry was completely empty, and there was a thick layer. I think we have a peregrine. I don't know whether you can hear that, but there we are, on cue, and there's a peregrine flying over. If you can just see that, I don't know whether you can. There we are, I'll come back to you. So going back to my story, I came to the quarry, and there's a big thick layer of snow covering everything, and it was still snowing, and I'm dressed up like an Eskimo trying to keep warm, and I thought, right, we'll see what happens, maybe the snow will go off. So I waited for the snow to die down, and in one of the trees at the back there was a buzzard, and a buzzard flew up and flew across. First of all, I thought it might be the peregrine, but it was a buzzard. And then the peregrine chased it. And the buzzard went off, and the peregrine moved into position, landed on the rock face, and landed just right on a patch of snow on the rock face. So I quickly got into position and took some photographs and filmed the peregrine in the snow, which I think is quite an interesting shot, probably quite a rare shot as well. But there we are.
Peregrines in the British Isles do not migrate in winter, and most stay within 100 kilometres of their birthplace. They can often be found on coastal sea cliffs and upland areas, though nowadays peregrines are a common sight in cities, as their favoured prey, feral pigeons, thrive inside our bustling towns and cities. However, abandoned quarries can also make the perfect roost site. Peregrines prefer to be high up on cliff faces, away from potential predators. Quarries make the perfect home as the many ledges provide a wide variety of places to both eat and rest.
They're very different. They've got personalities that you wouldn't believe. The female is astonishing. She is just an amazing hunter and just a stunning bird, really. She will fly off, and I think the fastest I've seen is around 4 or 5 minutes, come back with a kill, which is astonishing speed to be able to do efficiently. There are lots of pigeons in town, so there's lots to go at, but again, to turn around a kill within that period of time is really quite stunning. The male's a real character. He's a bit strange. He makes a lot of noise, and he seems to want to pester the female to go off and hunt, so that he can steal the pigeons that she catches and eat them for himself. Mel's nicking it.
Yeah.
To successfully hatch a chick, the peregrines need to work together. The male peregrine has so far showed no interest in helping the female incubate the eggs. He's more interested in grabbing a quick meal.
We're coming in. We're coming in.
Maybe a bit.
Oh, we're going to pinch it. Oh. Did you see that? It just pinched it. Oh, he's gone. What a bugger. No wonder she doesn't lay eggs. So, here we are at the end of the season. It's 2019, and unfortunately the peregrines have not been successful. Very disappointed, been waiting a long time to see whether or not this couple will be successful and have a brood, but it wasn't to be. We've been following the female peregrine for the last 6 weeks. She's been sat on the nest, and she pretty much stayed there the whole time. Didn't really move, had no support from the male, who's just not been around. So we are keeping our fingers crossed, firmly crossed for next year, and hope that 2020 brings some more news for us and maybe a successful brood. So that's where we are, really. We just have to wait and see what next year brings.
While it is not the news that everyone had hoped for, it is not uncommon for inexperienced parents to fail at incubating eggs for the first time. It can take several tries before the eggs are hatched successfully.
He's picking bits off. It's her, actually. That's so cute. Wow. It was quite amazing when I first realised that they were successful and had a brood. It was on the 19th of May 2020, And because of the lockdown, I was outside the quarry on the road with a camera on a tripod and observing the peregrines on the nest, and spotted a fluffy white bobbly head just above the top of the nest. And that was the first glimpse of any offspring in the quarry. And it was pretty amazing. There was just one, and it looked so precarious and fragile. It's quite interesting from that point of view, this little thing that had been born into the world. And yes, it had been cared for and fed very delicately by its parents. And watched this over the next few days, and then spotted 2 more white bobbly heads within the next week, and that was the 3, all different sizes and at all different stages of growth. And from then on, I came up almost every day to film them and to get some pictures and to watch their development over that time. And I think I got really quite a good record of their growth and development, which is amazing. So yeah.
Both parents will take turns feeding the chicks during this time. It is vital that they work together to ensure that their chicks live on. These chicks may live to be 12 to 15 years old. Only 60% of chicks will make it to adulthood, and until then they will rely on the prey brought to them by their parents. The chicks will remain covered in downy feathers until they are around 3 to 4 weeks old. At this age, they will start to grow those all-important flight feathers. They will start to flap around in the nest to help strengthen their wings. From about 5 weeks old, the chicks will start to become restless, eager to explore the world outside their nest. The chicks can be seen hopping about the ledges near the nest, testing their new feathers and gaining their balance, though they will need to learn how to walk before they can learn how to fly. It seems quite impossible that these chicks, in a few short weeks, will be taking to the skies. At about 6 weeks of age, the young falcons will make their first attempts at flying, although they will still be fed by the parents. Fledgling is a dangerous process for most peregrines, especially as they nest so high up and are still learning to fly. These chicks certainly have a long way to go before they're ready to take to the air.
Oh wow! No, this isn't good. We've got a peregrine chick in a cat carrier. Apparently, this lady has picked up the the peregrine chick. It was in her garden, and it was being attacked by some crows, so she took it in. She's going to take it to Secret World to get it checked out tomorrow, but it's imperative that we get this chick back in the quarry, back with its parents. Look at it in the cat basket. Okay, see what we can do. We'll have to get back tomorrow. There's an interesting story about one of the chicks. I've been watching them getting ready to fledge for some time. Doing rock climbing is what I call it, when they're doing a lot of flapping and a lot of walking around the rocks, trying to get some lift but not letting go. And so they were rock climbing this day, and I thought they must be going sooner rather than later. And true enough, that evening they fledged. And on Facebook, one of my friends messaged me saying, I think somebody's got one of your chicks. So I then followed it up, and indeed one of the chicks had left the nest and landed in somebody's garden. And this lady called Carol, I messaged her, and she replied to me and said that she'd taken the bird in because it was being attacked by crows. So I said to her, well, what is she going to do with it now? And she said, well, I'll take it to Secret World and get it checked over. I said, that's fine. I said, but we must really get it back into the quarry as soon as possible, so there's a chance it will get repatriated. So we arranged to meet the next day at 11 o'clock, and she brought the peregrine in a box that Secret World had given her. It had holes in it, and it had some dead chicks in it to eat. And we went about repatriating this peregrine chick.
Yeah, well, that's good then. Yeah, we got to give them dead. We can't feed them. That's right. You can't feed them live.
I'd rather not.
Got up there. If you can release it up there, that'd be great, because it'll be easy access for the parents. Here we go.
Pardon? Get over there, I reckon. But then it's all according. We're better more up there because we're into the corner.
Yeah.
Stressed.
So we eventually found a good spot on top of the cliff.
We got at the chicks.
Feisty, yeah.
Yeah, he's good.
Absolutely gorgeous.
See the markings on the juvenile?
Yeah.
Next year they'll be bars.
Will they? Oh, that's time to go, mate.
We're not your mother.
We give us the corn, don't we? He's not, He's very well hidden in between those trellis.
That's it, job done. What do we do, just leave it?
Leave it now.
And we released it, and it looked at us, and we looked at it, and it stood there. So we backed off, and fortunately it called out, and the parents came back, and it looks like it was successful.
Feel having seen the peregrine chick released the day after your birthday?
Well, I'm very pleased, obviously. It's great news. We think it's a really good chance that it'll be incorporated back into the group, and it looked very, very content, very happy. It was calling for its parents, and we left it. So all good news. if you can get an appreciation of nature early on in one's life, I think it's important because you take more care of your environment. So whenever there's people at the quarry, I always try to engage them in what's going on.
To help inspire people to want to protect nature and to look after their environments.